Shabbat Shalom. Good morning, everyone. I'm Rabbi Jenni Greenspan for Congregation Beth-El here in Indianapolis. I'm going to give us, as usual, a few minutes to see if anyone else wants to join us. And as usual, if you have not yet done so, head over to the bez613.org website and select the Shabbat resources and then Torah Talk resources. And you will be able to get a PDF of this week's Torah portion, Shlach Lecha, which will be the scan of the Chumash that we would normally be using in the sanctuary. So if you wanted to head over there and take a look, you will be able to follow along with me. If you have a hard copy of the book of your own, I will be starting on page 841 today. And if you are using a different edition of the Torah copies of, if you are using any other Chumash or any other Tanakh, I am in the book of Numbers, chapter 13, and I will be beginning with verse 17, Numbers 13:17. So I'll say good morning, Shabbat Shalom to Jim Roth and to Miles Siegel. Shabbat Shalom to Carol Steinfeld and to Alan Hamburger. So good to see you all every week. Good morning, Shabbat Shalom. And I'll give us all just a couple minutes. Shabbat Shalom, Cheryl Tooth. Yes, happy summer. We're officially there today. And I'll say Shabbat Shalom, good morning to all of you and to any others who are watching. And again, I am in Numbers chapter 13, verse 17, Parshat Shlach Lecha. If you are using an Etz Chaim Chumash, either downloaded from our website or in a physical book copy, I am going to be starting on page 841. We're going to give us just another couple minutes and then I will get us going. Shabbat Shalom, Larry Spector. Good morning. And to Phyllis Luger, good morning. I'm so glad to see so many of us joining this morning. This is a fascinating Torah portion. As I mentioned last week, we seem to have kind of resumed the action of the story of the Torah, of our shared inherited story of our people. We've inherited through the Torah, we've inherited laws and legend, and together they form the basis and the foundation of our people, and we have moved back as of last week from a section that was a little more law focused to a little more legend focused. So it's often fun to kind of use the stories to see where we go and what lessons we can glean from them. This particular story is somewhat of a pivotal one and a somewhat famous one. I say it's a pivotal story because this particular story, though pretty contained in chapters 13 and 14, completely changed the rest of the narrative and what will happen for the Israelite people. So let's start at the very beginning of chapter 13. We are told, Moses is told by God, Shlach lecha, send for yourself scouts. And we have a scout assigned from each of the 12 tribes of Israel who are to go and check out the land of Canaan, to go take a look at the promised land that God has been taking them toward since they first left Egypt. So we're going to read a few sections today, so I'm going to stick in the English just for keeping us going, because as I said, it's a story, so there's a lot more narrative. We're going to look at a few more verses than I might normally when we gather for our Shabbat morning Torah talk. So Numbers 13, starting with verse 17. When Moses sent them to scout the land of Canaan, he said to them, "Go up there into the Negev and into the hill country and see what kind of country it is. Are the people who dwell there strong or weak? Are they few or many? Is the country in which they dwell good or bad? Are the towns they live in open or fortified? Is the soil rich or poor? Is it wooded or not? And take pains to bring back some of the fruit of the land." Now it happened to be the seasons of the first ripe grapes. They went up, they scouted the land, and from the wilderness of Zin to Rehob at Labo Hamath. So we have our 12 scouts, one from each tribe, who have been sent out. They're going to go check out the land. Good, bad, is it? And all of those questions that Moses gave them, like, let's go ahead and take a look. What are they supposed to be looking for? You'll notice they're just kind of given a loose judgment on what the land is going to be like. And so now we're going to jump ahead a little bit to verse 25, when those scouts come back to the rest of the Israelite people and give them their report. So I'm on page 843 at the top now, verse 25. At the end of 40 days, they returned from scouting the land. They went straight to Moses and Aaron and the whole Israelite community at Kadesh in the wilderness of Paran, and they made their report to them and to the whole community as they showed them the fruit of the land. They had brought back these gigantic grapes. This is what they said to them. We came to the land that you sent us to. It does indeed flow with milk and honey, and this is its fruit. The grapes are described as being gigantic, huge. However, the people who inhabit the country are powerful, and the cities are fortified and very large. Moreover, we saw the Anakites there. Amalekites dwell in the Negev region. Hittites, Jebusites, Amorites inhabit the hill country, and Canaanites dwell by the sea along the Jordan. Caleb hushed the people before Moses and said, "Let us by all means go up. We shall gain possession of it, for we shall surely overcome it." So we have most of our scouts, just to give a summarize, are saying, it is a good land, and these people that are already there are way too strong for us. And Caleb is trying to say, we can go do it, let's go for it. But the men who had gone up with him said, "We cannot attack that people, for it is stronger than we." Thus they spread calamities along the Israelites about the land and they had scouted, saying, "The country that we traversed and scouted is one that devours its settlers. All the people that we saw in it are men of great size. We saw the Nephilim there. The Anakites are part of the Nephilim, and we looked like grasshoppers to ourselves, and so must we have looked to them." And so that is the report that the Israelites give back, the scouts give back to the rest of the Israelite people. Let's jump ahead one more time and then come back together to chapter 14, verse 22, when we see exactly how furious God is. I'm on page 847. "None of the men who have seen my presence and the signs that I have performed in Egypt and in the wilderness, and who have tried me these many times and have disobeyed me, shall see the land that I promised an oath to their fathers. None of them who spurn me shall see it." So this is that famous moment where the Israelites go from simply going out of Egypt and being led to the promised land to now they have to wander the desert for 40 years. That generation is not to survive the wandering in order to get to the promised land. And so I am left with the question now, what exactly did the scouts do wrong that led to this harsh of a punishment? What did they do so wrong? They were told to go and take a look at the land. Was it good? Was it bad? Was it indeed flowing with milk and honey? What were the people who were already there like? And the scouts brought back a report, and they probably brought back what they assumed was an honest report. And so what did they do wrong that resulted in such a harsh punishment from God that that generation would never actually get to see and live in the land? Was it, as some commentators have suggested, that they showed a lack of faith in God, or that God, by saying that God wouldn't help them, that they wouldn't be able to overcome the strength of the people there? Could be, though they've shown a lack of faith in God before, the golden calf being a key example. And at that point, God was angry and God punished them, but they did not get told that they would never actually see the land anymore. Perhaps it was that they were taking a gift that God was giving them and complaining about it and saying it's not worth the work and looking a gift horse in the mouth, as it were. And perhaps that is what God is upset about. Except, if you remember my Torah talk from last week, they've already done that. They saw the manna and kept complaining about it. They were sick of the manna. And they were indeed punished last week. I didn't focus on it, but last week, if you read through, you saw that God said, fine, I will give you so much manna and so much quail, because they requested meat, that it will come out your noses. So God has punished them for not accepting a gift before. And again, not with wandering in the desert for 40 years and not actually seeing the promise being fulfilled. And so what was it that they did so wrong? And there's a suggestion in the Talmud in the tractate Sota, given by Rabbi Yochanan. He points out a few of the verses. So they came and they went. Is the introduction here. Go back to Numbers 13, chapter 13, verse 25 to 26. Rabbi Yochanan says, in the name of Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, this verse likens their going and their coming. They're going out to the lands and coming back to give the report. Just as their coming back was with wicked counsel, so too was their going. The Torah states, here's where we are, and they told him, and they said, we came to the land which you sent us, and it also flows with milk and honey. They started by saying it was indeed a wonderful land that flowed with milk and honey. And then it is written in verse 27, however, but the people that dwell there are fierce. Why did the spies praise the land first and then slander it? Rabbi Yochanan asks. And he says these are the three statements of Rabbi Meir: truth alone and then borrowing. The first statement answers the question: any slander that does not begin with a statement ultimately does not stand. So in summary, Talmud can sometimes talk around itself a little bit. In summary, Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Meir say that the problem is indeed that they began with the good, that it flows with milk and honey, that it is beautiful land. And then they said, but. They said, but this people is too strong for us. We can't do it. And that is the taste that was left in the mouth of the rest of the Israelite people. And that is what makes slander and gossip so insidious. Any slander that does not begin with a truthful statement does not stand. By starting with the truth, the beautiful truth, they made their slander more believable. Or as in summary from Rabbi Beth-EL Scheinbaum in Pninim on the Torah, this is the new form of Lashon Hara, gossip or slander. One speaks well of another person, even glowingly presenting his or her positive attributes. And then suddenly, the speaker adds one word. And immediately everything that they had been saying changes. No longer is the person's virtues remembered. The word but just accomplished that. With one word, all of the good information that the speaker had previously related no longer carries any merit. It's a lesson I remember learning from my dad multiple times. And so if he's watching, say thank you to my father. The word but is one of the most dangerous words in the English language. He always reminded me, the word but in a sentence erases everything that came before it when you are speaking to someone or about someone. Whether you are speaking about the person and trying to share feedback with the person you're talking to, or you are indeed offering slander. The word but erases any good things that you had already said before. It completely colors the perception of everything that you are saying. So we note that these scouts start by saying how wonderful the land was, and then they say but. They say, but we don't have it. We can't accomplish what we need to do to get to the land. But that land is dangerous. But those people will kill us. And but we aren't actually strong enough. Note they even insult themselves. That last verse in their report is that we thought we looked like grasshoppers to them, so we must have to them. You note that it's their own lack of confidence. That word, but, completely erased all positive that could have been there. And so perhaps that is why God is so frustrated with them, that they cannot go into the land. It's that they were not careful with their speech, that they weren't careful with how they shared the information. It's not only that they couldn't focus on the positive, they erased the positive that they shared. And so I hope for us this week and for throughout our lives, we can remember to be careful with what we speak and how we speak to one another. May we be careful with the praise that we offer, and make sure that we always give the praise in the genuine way, and that we offer criticism and opportunities for growth in a constructive way without the word but, so that we can hear all parts of the sentence. May we use our speech carefully and consistently, constructively, and honestly. And may we use it to build a better world where we can offer one another blessings and gratitude, and where we can offer one another opportunities for growth. May we use it in a way that we build that better world, and not one where we end up erasing all good and wandering in the same desert for yet another generation. We'll say Shabbat Shalom. I'm going to leave you here for now. Shabbat Shalom to Marty Lip and Mickey Ashworth. I see you've joined. And thank you, Cheryl. Shabbat Shalom. Good morning to all of you. I hope you enjoyed learning with me a little this morning. The rest of the story, all of the details of the story are there in the scan of our Chumash on our website. And you can please feel free to go read through the whole story and look at some of the other commentaries on the page. I hope you will join Cantor Melissa for our Shabbat Chance Encounters at 10:30, just about 10 minutes. And I hope you can join us on Monday night for a special Cocktail Judaism, when we will be learning from a few local authorities about how we can help join as allies to people of color. One of the ways that we use our language carefully is to make sure that we speak well and to also listen well. So I hope you can join us for that special Cocktail Judaism on Monday night. The time and the link and all of that information is on our Facebook. And I hope we will see you then. So again, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to Melanie Henning for joining. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.